In the Old Testament, God picked out a great place for his people to live. But, long story short, they ended up in Egypt for 400 years instead. God led his people back to this land he promised to give them, but there was a problem. Other people moved in while God's people were gone. God picked a man named Joshua to be the leader of Israel. He had watched Moses lead God's people for years, so he learned to go when God said go and stay when God said stay. Joshua got really good at obeying God in the little things and in the big things by obeying his leader Moses. God gave Joshua very specific directions on how to defeat the people who were living in God's promised land. It wasn't a normal kind of battle plan at all, but Joshua trusted God so much that he was ready to obey no matter what God asked. The first enemy city they came to was Jericho. Jericho had a big, tall wall that protected the city. God told Joshua to line up all of God's people, the Israelites, and march around the city once a day for 6 days.
Joshua fought the battle. Joshua fought the battle. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. Joshua fought the battle. Joshua fought the battle. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho. Dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da, dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da, dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da, dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. Dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da, dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da, dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo, ba-da, dooba-dabba, dooba-dabba, dooba-da-doo. You may talk about your kings of Gideon, you may talk about your men of song, but there's nothing like good old Joshua at the battle of Jericho. Up to the walls of Jericho, he marched with the sword in hand. Go blow your ram horns, Joshua cried, for the battle is in God's hands.
Then on the seventh day, they were to march around the city 7 times. No fighting, no yelling, just marching. So, Joshua did just what God said.
God's people didn't just bring their weapons. They brought their trumpets and ram horns for praising.
Then they marched around the walls 7 times, praising God.
He led all of the people to line up and obey God too. Even though this plan sounded crazy, and even though the walls of the city were big and tall, Joshua obeyed what God told him to do. On the first day, they marched around the city's big tall wall. No fighting, no yelling, just marching. On the second day, they marched around the city's big tall wall. No fighting, no yelling, just marching. On the third day, they marched around the city's big tall wall. No fighting, no yelling, just marching. You get the picture, right? Same thing on the 4th day, and the 5th day, and the 6th day. It seemed like nothing was happening. Jericho's big tall wall was still big and tall. On the 7th day, God told Joshua to march around the city 7 times. This time, they blew their trumpets and yelled. And guess what? They saw that big tall wall fall. It was a miracle. Because of Joshua's great obedience, the people of Israel obeyed God's instructions too, and God destroyed the big tall wall of Jericho.
Then God commanded his people to yell.
So get ready to shout a praise with us.
Here we go.
Whoa, that was awesome!
God is so powerful.
When the horns began to bellow and the drums
fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down.
Joshua continued to obey God in the little things and in the big things. He trusted God no matter what. He led God's people into the promised land, and God made Joshua into a mighty leader. You can read about him in his very own book of the Bible, Joshua.
Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, Jericho, Jericho. Joshua fought the battle of Jericho, and the walls came tumbling down. The walls came tumbling down.